Kaze was mocked as a useless retard, ordered to leave Cloud 9 as if he had sneaked in as a waiter. Then he looked at Darcy and said Pietro's boss was hosting a feast on the 9th floor, the Emperor Hall, to apologize to them who really invited him there. Miru scoffed. I would like to see how you do that. By the way, do you know where Henry is bringing us to dinner tonight? It's the 3rd floor of Cloud 9. A piece of trash like you could never get into such a luxurious restaurant even if you work your entire life. Agnes's eyes glimmered with excitement. The 3rd floor of Cloud 9? Only Golden members can make a booking at that place. Cloud 9 was one of the most famous restaurants in Lily Rose, and only by spending above 10 million on a single receipt, one would be eligible to apply for the Golden membership. Master Quint was the only one in the entire family to have a Golden member card. As for floors above the 3rd, the required spending would be much higher. Miru glanced at Kaze and scoffed. Kaze, this is the difference between you and Henry. I have no idea what gives you the confidence to continue staying at Darcy's side. Miru, stop talking to this piece of trash. Darcy is here. Let's go. We wouldn't want Henry to wait for us. Agnes did not even spare a glance at Kaze as she dragged Darcy into Miru's Land Rover. As the car drove off and disappeared into the distant horizon, Kaze's phone rang. Boss, Giovani has prepared a feast as a token of apology for offending you. It's being held on the 9th floor of Cloud 9. Emperor Hall, do you want to? Tell him to pick me up. When the Land Rover arrived at the entrance of Cloud 9, Henry, who had been waiting, went up to welcome them. He wore a branded white suit and held a bouquet of roses. He opened the car door for Darcy and said, Darcy, you look amazing tonight. Darcy forced a smile on her face. Miru nudged Darcy in the waist and grumbled, Henry is talking to you, say something. Darcy leaned over to her and whispered, I'm worried about Kaze not having anything to eat tonight. You are worried about that retard? You really don't learn from your lessons, do you? Miru said with a sigh. Wow. Someone cried all of a sudden. An extended white limousine then drove into the porch, and the 59S on the number plate attracted much attention. Even Henry was surprised. Isn't that Giovanni Benelli's car? He's eating at Cloud 9 as well? Giovanni Benelli was an influential man of the underworld, whose power rivaled that of the law enforcements. Agnes and Hector looked in the same direction. Then, the door opened and a young man came out. He then followed the waiter into the elevator. Darcy stared at the young man and it somehow looked familiar. He looks like Kaze. Miru raised her brows and ridiculed. Darcy, you must be seeing things. Kaze will never come out from Giovanni's car in this life, or his next life. Darcy reluctantly nodded upon hearing her friend. She must have mistaken the young man for Kaze. Darcy, along with her parents and Miru, followed Henry to the 3rd floor of Cloud 9, named Moonlight Breeze Hall. Wow, the 3rd floor is already this grand and luxurious. I wonder what the higher floors look like. And that legendary Emperor Hall on the 9th floor. I heard it's as grand as the palace. Agnes was captivated by the interior of the Moonlight Breeze Hall. She went around the place, looking at and touching the beautiful decorations. Henry was delighted by Agnes' response. He said, Hector, Agnes, why won't we order first? All right, let's order. The couple sat down and started to look at the menu. When they saw the prices, they hesitated. The ridiculously expensive pricing made them feel like they were having gold for dinner instead of food. Henry was quite calm. After he made his order, he even added 2 bottles of properly aged Romanée Conti. Miru was also a wine connoisseur. She said with flattery, Henry, you shouldn't have. Those 2 bottles of Romane Conti cost around 30 to 40,000. Henry smiled. It's nothing. I am the host of this dinner tonight, and I have Agnes, Hector, and Darcy here to dine with me. This is the least I can do to express my feelings. For a moment there, Agnes and Hector were deeply convinced by Henry's generosity. As expected of the eldest son of a first-tier family, he was 100 times better than the retard they were forced to call son-in-law. Outside the hall, Kaze was shuttling across the corridors. When he made a sudden turn, he almost bumped into the waitress with the 2 bottles of wine. She tripped and almost fell, but fortunately Kaze caught her. Are you all right? I'm okay. The waitress was mortified. If she dropped the 2 bottles of wine, she would lose salary for the entire year. I think you sprained your ankle. Why don't I help you deliver the bottles? The waitress tried to move her feet, but the pain stung her. She nodded and thanked Kaze. Thank you, sir. Back in Moonlight Breeze Hall, the group were chatting happily over dinner, except for Darcy as her thoughts had drifted off. Agnes noticed her daughter's blank look. She leaned over and whispered into her ear, Darcy, why are you so quiet? When the wine is here, you better pour some for Henry, understand? Mom, I don't want to drink, Darcy helplessly said. You have to. Then the door opened. Sir, madam, your wine is here. Kaze. Agnes was sitting opposite the door and she spotted him at first glance. She bolted up and cried in shock. The others were surprised as well when they turned around. You pesky useless thing. Why did you follow us here? Who let you in? Agnes was furious. She glanced at Henry, afraid that he would be mad because of Kaze's uninvited entrance. Miru scoffed. Kaze, you have quite the nerves. Cloud9 forbids entry without a member card. Don't tell me you pretended to be a waiter and slipped in. Kaze shook his head. Someone invited me here. Darcy looked at Kaze baffled. Miru scoffed in disbelief. Who would invite a retard here to have dinner? Kaze, don't tell me you still have some retardness left in your brain. Henry sized up the well-known retarded son-in-law in Lily Rose from top to bottom. He did not care about Kaze at all. He waved nonchalantly and said, I don't care how you get in. Put down the wine and leave. Go where you should go. How can a retard bring us such an expensive wine? How are we going to drink it? Yeah. Agnes snatched the bottles from Kaze and bellowed, Get out of my face. Although he was not welcomed, Kaze looked at Darcy and said, Darcy, Pietro's boss is hosting a feast on the 9th floor, the Emperor Hall. He said it's to apologize to us. Do you want to come? His words silenced everyone present.